I spent a little over 20 hours on my French journey. Like 9 years more than 20. And I keep advocating for people to spend 20 hours in their first hustle, in their first side project.
Bonjour madame.
Bonjour monsieur.
Est-ce que vous êtes lillois d'origine?
Non, pas du tout, mais j'habite à côté.
Est-ce que vous êtes lilloise de base?
Oui, ouais, je suis de Lille.
Ça fait un moment que vous êtes à Lille ou?
Ça va faire 3 ans.
I've tried really hard to document my process of learning something new, and I just can't seem to concentrate on this camera angle, this lighting, and the task at hand, like working on Dutch or working on something new. I've tried a lot to document, and I haven't. So I had an idea. So I got a student who really wants to learn English. Her parent reached out to me online saying that my daughter wants to learn English. So I took it up as a challenge. Yesterday morning, we clocked 17 and a half hours since October working together on her English. Real life. Yesterday morning, we clocked 17 and a half hours since October, meeting every Saturday morning. And I didn't even know that we are making crazy progress. And I got this email from her parent talking about I didn't know this. I just learned of it now. To be fair, alongside the 17 and a half hours, she's also been investing roughly 10 hours so far in this 6 months doing these exercises during her free time, during the week. Now, this one's a motivated student. So I started by collecting with her what constitutes success. So what is success for her and what's success for her parent. Her parent said that she has to go through the B2 Cambridge level exam and that she should pass flying colors. So that's super clear, very quantifiable. And for her, she said, I have a lot of confidence issues when I speak. I know the words, but they don't flow out. That's one. But when people speak with me with their English, American or Indian accent, I can't follow what they're saying. She told me all these things in French. So this is very valuable key points and a clear goal of if I achieve these two things, I'm doing a good job. So first things first, the most quantifiable one was the B2 Cambridge, right? What are they measuring? So I went through their website and looked at all the things that B2 Cambridge measures. And also learned how they evaluate their children, because I don't know how to evaluate children in English. I mean, it's good or it's not. I don't know. What are you looking for? What are you not looking for? Which mistakes you can overlook and which ones you can't, Then I had an evaluation call with her. We downloaded a question paper from Cambridge and we solved it together. I was not helping at all. She was doing the solving and I was making private notes. A good list of things that we can work on. And if she did these things, then it's perceivable progress. I didn't show her these notes because for a young child to look at 10 things you suck at, that's heartbreaking. So I didn't show her this note. This was private for me, but I just kept measuring and nudging her to do these things every time we met for a Saturday morning class. Then I thought of what exercises would get her on the other side of each of those problems. For example, her self-introduction was very French focused, and this is the curse of knowledge, meaning she doesn't realize that an English speaking person doesn't know what is Croix, what is Pas-de-Calais, what is Nord de la France. She doesn't know that. So when she was introducing herself, she would just go, I live in Croix, and that's not very helpful. So I would replace that, ask her to say it more like, I live in the north of France in a city called Croix. Now it doesn't matter whatever city, because at least it's the north of France, Little feedback like that. I started feedbacking her on little things like that. So that when she introduces herself, this is one of those criteria in the B2 exams, when she introduces herself, it's super clear for a non-native speaker what she's saying. Push comes to shove, doing these little things over and over again every Saturday morning. Now she knows how to introduce herself without any mistakes. Now she's using quantifiers, she's using phrasal verbs. We have a list of 25 phrasal verbs that she has to learn by the time we finish our course with each other. So I think I have another couple of months ahead of us. Out of the 25, she uses 4 or 5 phrasal verbs in everyday life. That makes you sound fluent. And there are little things like this, even in French, little things that if you focused hard on this, expressions, for example, you sound fluent and my student sounds fluent. And to solve her listening problem where she's not used to it, I realized that she's not exercising this enough. She's reading the subtitles, right? So I forced her to listen to podcasts. So every week when we meet, she tells me what she's interested in from this list of BBC beginners English learning podcast list. And when she would pick one of this, then she would have to listen to it 3 or 4 times over the week. I wouldn't. Only she would. The first few times that she did this exercise, she would go, I don't know what they were talking about. There were these 4 keywords that I followed. We went from there to her saying this verbatim the other day. I was like, pfft. The multiverse has to do more with VR than AR. See, because AR is enhancing what you already perceive around you. But VR is replacing, and that's multiverse. You got that from a 6-minute podcast? Is this podcast about technical stuff or about learning? You can do so much only in a few hours. And that's the key message of this video. Now, to be fair, I've tried the same with working out, with learning Dutch. And it's realistic to say that it's not just because you spend 20 hours that you will succeed. And I have failed over and over again. And that's when you're supposed to take a decision for yourself that if you don't have the energy to research and innovate, be creative, and put all your energy into this one thing, losing weight and running out, for example, then you need to hire an expert and you need to have a mentor who tells you from the back of his head that this specific investment is not going to be very worth it for you. You need someone like that. Maybe you can't do 5 new things in your free time just because you put 20 hours. So there you have it. The quantification is available. This idea I first heard by Josh Kaufman on a TED Talk, and it just inspired me so much, and I used that for my friend. I measured it with this student and her English got really good in less than 20 hours. I've made another video about spending your free time wisely in your 20s, and this has come back to bless me in confidence and excellent relationships at work. Check it out if you haven't thought about this before. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. I'll see you in the next video. This whole rant at the end, keep learning.